Okay, welcome everybody. I guess we're sitting here at about 10 days away from spring starting, so we're getting closer. We're not as off season goes. I'll start with where we're at with our winter conditioning. We're not ready to wrap that up yet. We still got another week and a half of that before we roll right into spring practice. So our focus here is still off season conditioning, winter strength and conditioning, and we'll continue to focus on that here for the next week and a half, and then we just obviously quickly roll over into the spring practices. But I think it's going good. Once again, Mike Joseph leads the charge at that with him and his staff. I think we have the best strength and conditioning staff in the country. All parties involved down there do a great job. It's funny when you bring in new coaches, and we got a couple of new coaches that have been at some pretty good places. The first thing that they say is how impressed that they are with the work that happens downstairs in the weight room. So I rely on those guys a lot. Mike's the head coach of this program during the conditioning stages of this, which we're in our 6th week. It's hard to believe that we're almost real close to midterms here for this semester. It flies by, obviously, as everything does, but we're in our 6th week. From the coach's perspective, we've been with them for 4 weeks. The January portion of recruiting, we don't see our guys very much, and Mike has complete control of them. We've been with them going on our 4th week, and we do a bunch of competition stuff. We're talking about early morning stuff a couple of times a week, and then afternoon football activities that we're able to watch video with them, install some things with them. Very, very, very limited on-field football stuff, but there's a couple of things that we can kind of do with them that we've been doing for 4 weeks, and we'll continue that tomorrow and then next week as well. But our team looks good. We've got a lot of bodies out there. Got a lot of guys that have been in the program for some time. Got 22 seniors. Last year we had a big senior class, and I think it paid dividends when, especially when things got tough there, and finished the year really well. Next year we're looking for it to be the same way. We got a lot of seniors and a lot of juniors that have been in the program, and that's just the start of what this 2016 team is going to be like. We'll continue to add to it, continue to build this team, and through recruiting went well. We'll keep adding those guys as well. With spring practice starts Sunday, we'll play it by ear. We'll get probably 3 practices in before spring break. We've done it this way for 2-3 years now. Like how it's structured. Obviously this time of the year you don't know what you're getting with the weather. We were outside with them yesterday, believe it or not, and then today we're going to get a bunch of snow. So who knows where that's going to head? But the first 3, I'm prepared to go inside if we need to. You can knock out 3 non-padded practices. That gets you a couple of weeks closer to potentially some good weather. So once we get back from spring is really the heavy work that takes place. If we get a good day, then we'll go outside and put the pads on with one of those 3 days if we can. If not, we'll be inside non-padded. It's tough to have a full practice inside with the pads. We've talked a lot about that. But if not, then we'll come back with our 12 practices. We'll have 3 a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday like we have. You guys are invited to each and every one of the Saturday practices. You can be there the whole time. The 3, we're not really traveling as much as we have in the past. I know that'll make some of y'all happy. We'll be up on the practice field for those 3 Saturdays, probably somewhere around noon. I haven't really set the schedule yet. And then the spring game, we'll conclude it with one practice down at the Greenbrier like we did last year. That worked out really well for us last year. A lot of West Virginia University stuff happens down there on that weekend. Gonna make it a real spring game. So we're anticipating more people there than we did the previous year, which was a really good turnout last year. So pretty fired up about that. Not going to give not going to give out the depth chart at this time. I think for obvious reasons. I mean, we got 8 starters back on offense. You can kind of pencil in and figure out who some of the guys are that have played a whole lot of football for us. I mean, those guys are going to have a little bit of the upper hand, but with a lot of bodies out there at specific positions, I mean, you never know how things are going to go. So a depth chart towards the end of spring is going to do everybody a little bit more good than it is at the beginning. We change our depth chart daily. Our players know this. It's changing right now with even the very limited amount of football time that we have. So once we get into real football time, it'll change a good bit. And you know, we'll talk about position battles as we get into the spring. But there's a lot of opportunity for guys to improve, a lot of opportunity for guys to make moves, and there's going to be some battles at a whole lot of positions that I'm very, very, very eager to be able to watch and to follow. So 8 guys back on offense, 4 guys back on defense. We all understand we lost some pretty good players that were at the combine here a couple days ago. It's been fun kind of following those guys, and leading on to the draft, I think what those a lot of those guys' names will get called. To me, it's not a sign of panic. Everybody wants to say, well, how in the hell are you going to replace those guys? Well, the same way we replaced the previous starters with them. You know, our guys went out and recruited pretty good, and our strength and conditioning program's pretty good, and our football sense around here is pretty good, where I think we're developing some guys that have opportunities to go play into the next level. So, yeah, we're going to take a little credit for that, for developing some of those guys, and I think we've got a bunch of guys on the roster right now that are going to do the same thing. They're going to develop. We're going to practice them hard. They're going to lift and run and play football, and probably put some guys out there that make a whole bunch of plays next year. So that's what spring ball is all about, and we're looking forward to getting started. So with that, we'll take some questions.
David, position changes? Anybody you're gonna switch around?
Yeah, a couple. We got with bringing Coach Wickline on. He's handling kind of all the hybrid guys offensively. Okay, so he's going to do all the tight ends, H-backs, guys that are tweener position kind of guys. He's gonna take all those guys, and you know, he's been so good to when we watch all of our cut-ups and everything, he's looking at it and kind of, you know, putting his spin on it a little bit with his ideas, and that's always been a position that's kind of got overlooked a little bit. You know, Dan Gerberry did a really good job with Cody Clay last year, and I think it helped Cody. We're going to take it the next step and let Wick do that. Wick he'll be able to coach all the old linemen at times with these specific guys. He'll be able to do some backfield stuff with some of these guys and be able to tie everything together. We moved John Lewis to tight end. You know, we just don't have a lot of tight ends in the program right now. We will eventually. You know, we got Wesco coming in. But Johnny's going to come over and play tight end. Alex Brooks was a reserve linebacker that's going to come over and play fullback. You know, so with having Ferns and Wolfley and Eli, you know, that's a bunch of bodies now that you can just keep doing that. If you have one guy that just keeps, like at fullback, you do some lead stuff and you just keep pounding those guys and they wear out. If you don't have backups, you can't run those schemes anymore. So. We added a couple of guys there that can do that. You know, other than that, that's pretty much it. You know, Marvin Gross has been going back and forth from linebacker. He doesn't gain a whole lot of weight, so we need a spur right now. He's going to give us a body at spur. Other than that, that's about it.
Is Burns a fullback tight end or
yeah,
both?
Both. And Eli can be both too, with the emergence of Eli as a true fullback, running back kind of guy, which I think Ferns can do that too. You know, it allowed Cody to spend most of his time as an attached tight end, and that was pretty good for us. You know, from the blocking schemes, everybody's like, well, Cody didn't have any stats, he didn't throw the ball, Cody can't run. You know, but he did a lot of stuff to enable us to be able to have the leading rusher in the Big 12. You know, that wasn't just all Wendell. As much as I love Wendell and think he's a good player, you know, played for a long, long time. We did some good stuff up front. That started with the quarterback. That was backside a lot, things you're not gonna be able to see, things you don't give them credit for. Also, you know, coaches, I think, did a good job of scheming some stuff up. The O-line had a pretty good year coming off the ball, run blocking, and then having those hybrid kind of guys with Eli and Cody, that gets you in a pretty good place running the ball.
The amount of numbers you lost, especially seniors, have you been getting reports about leaders taking over, anybody emerging in that kind of role in the offseason?
Yeah, we're seeing some guys emerge. I mean, now we could spend 8 hours with them, so we are seeing things. We don't rely on just reports at this point in time. We've been with them, like I said, for going on our 4th week, 8 hours a week. So we've seen guys do that. It's going to continue to happen. You know, like I said, there's 22 seniors. There's guys that are stepping up. I don't know who those guys are going to be yet. You got guys coming into their own that have been starters like Drayvon and Noble and Christian and, you know, Orlowski and Skyler and Dekeel Shorts, Russell Shell. I mean, there's guys, Eli, there's guys that have played a lot, but then what's always fun are the guys that haven't played a whole bunch. You know, now it's their turn to step up. Guys like Al Benton, yeah, and Jeremy Tyler, you know, the corners, Nana and Crawford and Sewell. All these guys are guys that are poised to now make a difference. You know, Sean Walter's been here for a long time. You see him leading the charge on a lot of things. So it's too early to kind of pinpoint guys. But the thing that's fun about it is watching those guys at this point saying, now's my time, and stepping up and doing some stuff that they haven't done in the past.
Danny, you mentioned John Lewis. Any other players, I assume he's got a scholarship now, any other players you added on scholarship that were already in the program?
You know, there's about 5 of them that are on for the spring, that aren't guaranteed to be on for the fall. That and the reason that is because we had so many kids graduated and guys that are gone. So there's an empty pile of scholarships. But when you go out and sign as many kids as we did, those scholarships for the fall are already accounted for now. So none of those guys are guaranteed one right now. John is definitely a guy that's in the line. Probably the number 1 guy that's going to get one is Kahari Sharif. You know, he's been around here for 2 years. He's a great student. He's going to play ball for us again this year. He played a little bit last year. He'll be the first one to get it because he's a senior. You always take care of those seniors first. But you're not going to totally know it until August. You know, right now we're over 1 right now. You know, and attrition's always going to happen. There's going to be a guy, you know, not do what he's supposed to academically or not live up to the, you know, to the social standards that we put on these guys. So something's going to happen. One of the recruits may not qualify. I mean, there's always those examples, and so you can't promise these guys that they're going to get taken care of in fall until that happens.
Any change in the structure of spring practice, like full team stuff versus skill development? Any way you're changing that approach, or pretty similar to the past year?
We're going to have a spring game. Even though we don't have a stadium right now, it looks pretty good out there. They're clearing things out. A lot of times coaches say that because they don't have any support and they don't want to have a spring game. And so they cancel spring games and they say, yeah, we're just going to work on skill development. Well, bull crap. I mean, there's enough time in spring to work on skill development, to work on offense and defense and special teams. If you know, the 3-hour practice 15 times, I mean, that's too much almost. So you got plenty of time to be able to accomplish everything that you want to. We did a study a year ago, and I don't have the exact number. I can get you this exact number with live reps and team reps that we had a year ago. And the only team that got more live reps than we did a year ago was Houston. And you know, they had probably about 70 more live reps than we did. Because I feel like our numbers are pretty good. We got 3 full O lines, we got 3 full D lines. I mean, we're going to play a lot of football, and there's still time to be able to work on developing your skills when it comes to being a football player at specific positions.
Dana, with Javon, obviously missed the bowl game. Is he in line to be able to fully participate in all the spring stuff?
I'll be surprised if these receivers don't turn some heads this spring. Not just him. Sheldon looks great. Ron White looks great. Gary Jennings looks great. Devontae Mathis looks like he's decided he wants to contribute. DeKeel has made a bunch of plays. Crest is doing a whole bunch of things for us, so don't be surprised to see him line up in a bunch of different spots like he has. Ricky Rogers is doing some things, so God, not just him, that's one example of guys that, why don't you put depth chart? I don't know which of those guys are gonna step up and be real guys. I mean, I think they all got a chance to be pretty good. It's why I'm pretty excited about spring, is to work with these guys. And, we got a lot of arms, so we'll be able to throw it a bunch, we'll be able to catch it a bunch, and be able to work on these guys. And see which one of these guys are gonna step up and make a whole bunch of plays and score a whole bunch of touchdowns.
David, can you identify a couple areas, I guess that's one, where you
Back,
feel,
Mitch. I haven't seen you in a while.
where you feel really comfortable, and then a couple areas where you feel like.
Position-wise?
Yeah.
Well, linebackers, a little bit of a concern just because we lost 5 seniors, right? So you got to pinpoint that. you brought a lot of guys in, so we're going to have some young guys come in and be able to contribute. But we got guys, Xavier Preston, Al Benton, Justin Art, Sean Walters, got some guys that have played, but those seniors took a lot of reps. So that's a concern. I think we're in a better place D-line than we've ever been. Safety, lost some pretty good ones. The one thing is, Carl's going to be the #1 safety taken in the draft. Well, hell, we didn't have him for the whole year. So got Jared Harper a lot of reps. Jeremy Tyler, Drayvon is going to step in and do things. So you say, gosh dang, how are you going to replace those 2 guys? Well, we're replacing them with guys that are juniors now, as opposed to the last time we lost safeties. We replaced them with these guys that were freshmen. So it's nice not to have to replace them with freshmen. Corner is going to be interesting to watch. Rasul and Antonio Crawford are seniors that have a lot of experience. Who knows, we may be better there. O-line got a lot of guys back, feel good about it. Running back, we got to just stay. Right now it's about health. The 2 concerning things are running back and linebacker, I guess, to answer your question. The other ones we feel pretty good about because we got a lot of guys that have played.
David Stills concentrate on one position over another?
He's in the quarterback room now. He wants to be a quarterback. Will bounces around a lot. Will's been in the quarterback room for 2 years now. So he's bouncing around a little bit. David's in the quarterback room, but when he's out there, we can't be out there with him, but you see him, go from quarterback to move into a little bit of a receiver drill and moves back and forth a little bit. So we'll let it play out and see how it goes.
You bring in Coach Wickline, does that move to keep your run game going in the right direction? He has that reputation of being kind of a hand in the ground type guy.
Well, I think it'll help. Anything that kind of help is a good idea, right? So, very happy with Ron and the mentality that he's installed into the offensive line guys. We're really good at coming off the ball. We'll stack up against anybody out there, being able to do that. We need help in the pass protection area. That's kind of the one area that, looking back on our stuff throughout the year, I don't think we did a very good job with that. So the schemes are there. We're fine. We know what we're doing. I think Wick's going to really help us with some tackle situations with the protections. Just getting these guys. He's coached a lot of All-American, All-Pro tackles. So he'll help with that. The one thing I've always said is offensive line is the hardest position to coach out there now. I'm looking at about upwards of about 20 bodies on my sheet that are going to be on O-line in the fall. Well, you put one guy in in charge of 20, that's not very fair. So those guys need help. So Dan Gerberry is right now our O-line GA, and then having Coach Wickline that's gonna coach a position, gonna, you know, overall just kind of head things up, be the coordinator, coach tight ends and fullbacks, but when that tight end's right there, who's the guy right next to that tight end? That's usually a tackle, so he'll be able to have his hands on those guys a lot.
You have a cornerback coach yet?
No, we've brought some guys in. You know, the one thing about this, and we're gonna take our time, make sure that we get a good one in here that wants to be here, and you know, we've brought a couple in, and the one thing with it right now is Mark Scott's been dealing with those guys for 3 years now, so those guys are still getting coached, and you know, we're not prepared to make Mark the corner coach, because he's the special teams coach right now, but in the interim, they're covered. So that probably downplays the importance of getting a guy in here yesterday. We'll make sure to get the right one.
Dan, you talked about Crest and Sills in the quarterback room. Obviously, Chugunov was a guy that got a lot of reps in as much as he could during the fall, and now this is his time to put him into perspective. What will his opportunities be in spring? What does he have to show you this spring?
Well, he's got a lot of reps because we kept him with us for the majority of the year last year. You know, he took some second team reps throughout the course of the year. He's right up there at around a 4.0, so he's a very smart kid. Absorbs a lot of things, can throw the heck out of it. You know, think he can absorb the information. He's never had to take the team and had to move them down the field. So he's gonna look good in all the drills. He throws the ball really well. You know, he's not the runner that those other guys are, Skyler or Crest or Sills. He can't run like that. So that's gonna set him back a little bit. Cody Saunders is in that room as well, and he's got really good ability, and he can run a good bit. When we have all these live reps, he's gonna take a lot of them. How does he take control of the huddle? How does he move the ball? You know, how does he handle specific situations on third and short, or once we get into the red zone, you know, 2-minute situations. You know, Skyler's got a lot of ball under his belt. I mean, he's played a lot, you know, so we know what he can do as far as that's concerned. He should be a ton better this year than he was last year. His numbers are pretty good. Let's not forget this kid had the second most passing yards in the history of this program the last time we played. And I think some of that has to do with receivers finally being in the spots that they need to be in. With that said, Chugs, we know he can throw the ball, so he'll get plenty of opportunities to be able to prove that he can be the starter.
Danny, you mentioned the importance of getting a quarterback to compete in the Big 12 conference. With that being said, we got coming back on the D line. You're pretty excited, especially someone like Noble, who really stood out last year.
He's the Big 12 returning leading sack getter. So I don't know, we haven't been able to say that for a while, right? So he looks good. Christian looks good. Darian Howard looks good. Xavier Pigus looks good. You know, some of these kids we redshirted. Adam Schuler, you know, Reese Donahue is with us. So we got 10 bodies right now on the D line that we can practice. So, you know, and Coach Dahl's doing a great job with those. It's where it starts, you know. So being able to be in a pretty good spot at that position. That's something to start with defensively.
When you work on offense this spring, will you get these issues in mind, or will you just work on the things you need to work on offense?
No, I'm going to try to beat him every time we play. Last year, he just completely shoved it right where it counts. And the offense was in a bad spot last spring. So everybody's walking around the hall saying this is offense's time to be able to have some success. No, I'm picking. They got players that know what to do. This is going into the third year of the system, I guess. So all the backups know what Gibby's talking about and have gotten a lot of reps, so they're gonna compete just fine. We're not gonna say, oh, and I don't know, in the papers and the perception is we're not gonna be any good, especially defense, we're not gonna be any good because we lost so many guys. I don't buy into that. We got a lot of guys that look pretty good and think they're pretty good and feel pretty good, and they're gonna get out there and I think they're gonna play pretty good. And that's not just defense, that's offense, and that's our team goes as well.
Thanks, Coach.
See you.